This podcast is rated TV PG for fantasy violence and language. Welcome back to Star Wars Birth of the Republic tabletop role-playing game. Episode 2. I'm Kirk, and I will be your storyteller.
I am Andrew. I play Hakru, the Zabrak Scout.
I'm Eric. I'm playing Lashara, the Bothan Noble.
I'm Greg. I'm playing Dodd, the Human Scoundrel.
Yeah, I'm Seth, playing Jad Marketa, the Rhodian Scoundrel.
This is Mary, and I will be playing Rura, the Tagorian Scout.
Last time we had the Ripper traveling to the planet, and it was delivering some foodstuffs when it was attacked out of hyperspace. Fought the enemy off, and was damaged in the process, landed on the planet, and you guys discovered that the city was a little farther off than you thought. So you decided to use the thrusters to get it closer, and that stressed them out a little bit more. And by the time you guys landed, you noticed that there was a welcoming party from the nearby city that was coming out to greet you. When they approached, you guys found out that the contact, Pana, was leading the group, and he had brought several carts and pack animals to pick up the foodstuffs and took it back to the city. And they just basically started opening everything up and kind of celebrating it when we left off. I don't think there was much else done at that time that I can see.
Didn't they ask us if we could take care of the pirate problem? There was a bonus to take care of that.
Well, I don't think it was in the initial deal. But they were like, I don't know what we're going to do. There's this pirate problem.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was okay. We weren't asked. It was just being spoken about. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. I don't remember. Were we asked?
And yeah, you guys, I don't think you guys were asked to deal with them, but you were going to have to probably get. I don't know if we said this or not, but there's no spaceport in this small town, so you guys are going to have to go to a nearby town to get parts for your ship. And it's about a day and a half away. The closest town is Garia. And you guys are going to have to either you guys are going to have to get the parts from there. They don't have anything like that. Again, these people are very much farmers and low tech. They don't have any sort of comm devices other than like an open radio airwave system they use. Yeah, and they were just starting to open up all the food when they got back to town with you guys. And the people are very excited. They're very happy. Some people are cheering and clapping, and they're passing around the foodstuffs. And it's mostly fresh fruit and vegetables and meat and that sort of thing. So they have little to no success farming stuff in the ground here, and they don't seem like they have any sort of hydroponic technology that you know of, but you just got into town. So, but again, it's kind of like a sandy terrain where water sits just a little bit below the surface in other parts. But this part where the city is raised up just a little bit, so it's a lot drier. It's like it's sitting on bedrock. So again, people are cheering, they're passing food around.
And we've gotten our payment, right?
Yeah.
4,000.
Yeah. They bring it out in cases. Yeah, they brought it out and set it down, and that's when Dodd said to load it on this ship, and they kind of looked at you strangely when when you made that demand. So
that was my question. Have we been back to the ship to drop it off?
No.
Or are we still carrying it?
You're literally sitting in the middle of town where they're unloading the cart with food, and they're putting the money on the cart for you.
All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm not even there then because I was back at the ship with the droid working on the ship.
Yeah. And I think we figured out the ship was mostly fixed except for parts that you need.
I've invented a few parts.
So we have, what was it? The thrusters were out. The hyperdrive was damaged a little bit. And
Hyperdrive and engines need replacement parts.
And that's the stuff you'll have to find from a spaceport or a place that has techs or mechanics generally. But these are basically farmers.
Figure out a way to wrangle up a speeder. And
I was say, do we have any kind of access to a speeder or something to haul back our crates of credits? And
you ask Panna?
yeah.
Okay.
Lashara will ask Panna.
He says that, let me roll. He says there's a broken down speeder if you want to take it back on the cart and fix it up. It's missing some parts we just don't have available.
Okay.
So
we have use of the cart to bring back stuff if we can bring it back to you.
Yeah, and the animals that are pulling are amphibious, looking like anteaters. It's got a long snout on them, and there's 4 of them because they're not very tall. He takes you guys over to a storage shed, and they open it up, and there's a pretty beat-up looking speeder. It's not even floating off the ground. He says, if you can fix it up, you can use it on the planet as much as you need. He goes, I don't know what's wrong with it.
Okay.
So I roll a mechanical and what?
It's just mechanics.
So I got a 22 just to kind of see how bad off is it. Can I jerry rig it into at least getting us back to the ship, and maybe we could scavenge something from the ship, that sort of thing.
You can't
do a little bit of robbing Peter to pay Paul.
It's not too beat up, but I think you've got to get it back to the ship to pull some parts off the ship to get it to run. But it's non-functional right now.
Will it fit in the cart?
Yeah. Yeah, this is like a flatbed cart. It's pretty big. Because you came in with, what was it, 4,000 metric tons?
That was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
58 metric tons is what you brought in on that cart.
Which, as we all know, is 200 pounds more than a regular ton,
Right.
thanks to earlier discussions.
Almost 130,000 pounds.
Okay. Shoot. I look at the Rhodian on my right, and I look at the speeder. What do you think?
I'm not going to pick that up. I'm weak.
Okay. I look over. All right. I look around. Where is shoot? I wrote down the name, but I can't read my own handwriting. The contact.
Panna.
Panna.
Panna. Yeah, Panna.
Let's see. I think he's pretty scrawny as a desk.
He has friends. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he gets 3 people to come over. They're pretty good sized farmers, and they help pick it up and move it over to the cart. And as they're moving it, a part falls off from underneath.
I pick it up.
I got that.
Put it
I'll go
on.
get
Oh,
it.
you got that?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm just picturing like
The exhaust pipe just popped off. Yeah. Nothing
I'm just
huge.
picturing like 6 good old boys going, lies a feather, stiff as a board, lies a feather, stiff as a board.
They're all using just one arm to pick it up with everyone around. But
Yeah.
they set it down in there. And,
Bearers.
yeah. Yep. And they are backwoods. They don't have any. These are not nice clothes. These are like space overalls they're wearing.
There's some hard-working folk.
Yep.
There are 15 teeth between them.
Yeah. Yep. So, and people are starting to cook food and prepare things. Water's boiling, spices are being thrown in the water, things like that. Panna says, you guys are welcome to, we can feed you if you want, unless you want to get out of here. It's up to you.
Well, we've got these parts to get in. I don't know. I'm going to take a surreptitious sniff and see if the food actually smells good.
Yeah, Lashara speaks up and says, "It looks like you can use this food more than we can."
It smells pretty good. Like they're holding.
And I say, "So Panna, are you sure you can afford to spare enough for us?"
Yeah,
it's been a long day.
The people would feel a little hurt, I guess, if you refuse to let them feed you because you're feeding them.
See, Lashara, we should eat.
and Lashara says, "If you insist," and she gives them a very polite bow.
As you look around, there's several other small wrinkled old ladies giving you the eye while they're stirring. And then they smile when you agree.
I grin, big time.
They start making a bonfire, and there's a couple people pull out musical instruments, and they start kind of, playing a little bit as everyone's getting things together. It is very low tech. There are no machines making anything. The bread, they're making some sort of bread in a kiln oven, that sort of thing. So, how long does it take? It takes just about an hour to get everything together, and they start bringing food out in different courses. And it's pretty darn good. They have been waiting to make their best recipes, I guess, all at once. So, music keeps playing. People are taking turns playing and eating and that sort of thing. Telling stories and laughing. Panna's sitting next to you guys, and he says, if you guys wanted to help us out some more, we could use it. We have a bunch of this ore that we mine that they are basically not letting us trade with. They're not letting us sell it. So if you could get a load of this ore off planet to one of our contacts that we normally sell to, then we could split it, and you guys could use our half to buy more foodstuffs, and then the other half would be for you guys.
I consider whether or not the Knot has another mission already lined up or not.
Okay.
I mean, no, I don't say that out loud. I'm considering it. Do I know if the Knot has? No. You're
the contact. Yeah.
Okay.
So unless you got it set up,
and I say, that sounds. And I look around to the rest of my cohorts. Is it? That sounds delightful. What percentage would you like?
50% of the ore.
I don't even argue. That's extremely generous, right?
Yeah, because he said sell what ore they can load on your ship. Half of it buy food with to bring back to them, and the other half is yours.
I get out my tablet and I start working out a contract while we're eating.
Yeah, and from what it looks like is the money they paid you with was what they had left over after they sold their last batch and got hit up for money, from what he says.
Gotcha.
Protection money. They paid it a couple times, and then they wouldn't let them sell any more ore. So,
yeah, then I definitely inwardly, I'm thinking this is a great idea.
Yeah,
we can help them, and I can help me.
Yeah,
and by virtue of that, I can help us as well,
or
we can help us.
Yeah.
I listen carefully though. Do I notice a lot of talk about the pirates or the?
Oh yeah.
Who else? Okay.
Yeah, they're on everybody's.
I'm checking my guilt in the back of my mind as that's happening, because I feel like maybe my conscience might feel like maybe we should do something about that.
That is up to you.
Well, we did drag them down from space, didn't we?
They've already been here. From what you can tell,
Okay.
this planet has been sort of under siege for a couple months. And from what he tells you, the other city kind of was taken over by them early on. They came in and strong-armed them because it was a bigger spaceport and everything. They installed some sort of figurehead mayor. That is a figurehead, a Duro named Tarla. And she became their mayor, and that city basically is producing this ore for the Tatari, and they're selling it and then bringing in small amounts of food, as they deem that they need. So, and they've been sort of recently pushing on this town to do the same thing. They're basically pulling protection money from them right now, but they want to take over the town, take over the ore processing, and run it for themselves. And as far as they know, there's no other settlements on this planet.
So just the one that they've got that we need parts from.
Right. So he suggests if you go into town, be kind of, low key about it. And he might be able to help you out, send someone with you to get a mechanic that they have worked with in the past when some of their mining equipment has failed.
That's extremely generous, I'd say.
Yeah.
Of course, make sure it's somebody that could drive the cart too.
Yeah. This is one of those things like he chuckles when you say that, and he says they'll return on their own usually. It's like a horse. If you take somebody's horse out and drop it off, it'll eventually wander back home to its home. So these things, unless they get taken out where they can't smell their way back, they will generally return. There's nothing else to run to. There's no real vegetation on the planet or anything. So, roll a gather information while you're talking to him.
All right. 17 plus.
Is that anybody or just him?
Just him, since he's grilling him.
25.
25 is the number.
Excellent.
He mentions that there is a muscle man or a muscle that works for her named Vinin. And he tends to show up and ask for money and everything. So if there was a firefight, then he may be showing up to find out what's going on. And
does this group have a name? Do they call themselves something?
Tatari?
The planet's name is Daghi, and they call themselves Dogs. Other people would call them Dagir.
Okay.
Or dogs for short.
I meant the kind of mafioso group that seems to be running the
T-Tari.
T-Tari.
T''Tari. A Taurie. Sorry. It's in the wiki. It should be in the wiki.
Okay. I was going to say that's awful specific for something you came up with off the top of your head, so it must be somewhere. Okay.
It was in the crawl too, so.
Okay.
And yeah, I see it there. It's in the wiki. Okay. They've recently taken interest in Dahi. They have started an attempt blockade of the planet. On the ground, they have attempted to get protection money from the Dorado City. Yeah, so.
Yep.
Okay.
It pays to read.
And almost as if on cue, you hear this slow clapping off in the distance. And people start hushing back at the back edge of the crowd and moving away. And walking up toward you is a large Devonian. And he's not super geared out. He's got like a regular sort of jacket and pants thing. He's got a blaster at his side, and he's huge. And he's slowly clapping as he walks up.
I try my best to ignore him unless he's talking to me directly.
Yeah. He stops and puts his hands up. Panna, it looks like you've hit the jackpot here. And everyone gets real quiet. Panna stands up. Says, yeah, we're eating for a change. thanks to you, or no thanks to you. And Venom says, cute. Real cute. So you have our money now? Panna says, nope. We spend it on food. Panna.
I unsnap the thing of my blaster that holds it in place.
Panna sort of shakes his head and looks down. Well, it's going to cost you extra now. Since you're late, we're going to put interest on it. She's not going to be very happy when she hears you've messed up this bad. Everyone kind of looks from him to Panna. He goes, I don't care what she thinks. I think we're going to be doing just fine from now on. So you can just go back and tell her whatever you want. He looks around the group. Doesn't look at anybody in particular. He says, well, you've made your decision. We'll be back.
Hey, what's your name? I say to the Deveronian.
Everyone looks at you.
As you do that, I'm gonna kind of slyly take my blaster out, so like, just
awesome
behind me, kind of.
He says, "I'm Venom. More importantly, who are you?"
Hey,
and he starts looking closely at the rest of the group.
Just a man looking for some work. You look like a guy who knows some things.
Did you bring him this food?
Damn right I did. They paid for it.
They're going to pay for it.
Seems like you've suggested something like that. So what are they going to pay exactly?
They're going to pay double now.
Well, it's better than I would do, I guess. I was thinking, I don't know. What's your monthly rate, Hana? I say.
He says 4,000.
4,000. And what exactly do they get for this 4,000? I'm a businessman, you see.
They get our protection and our ability to sell their product for food.
Wait. So what you're saying is that the ore that they manifest, that you're not allowing them to sell for profit, you charge them $4,000 a cycle for the right to have you walk in and belittle them. Is that pretty much the game?
Yeah. None of these hayseeds has the ability to get this stuff off planet, and we do. And we have very rich buyers that will buy this stuff from them. We just take a cut.
Sounds like you're... Oh, what's your cut percentage?
It depends. How many people are left to eat?
I see. And what is it that causes the reduction in numbers of people around here? Scavengers, probably?
Defiance.
I say scavengers in a way that implies that I'm talking about him, by the way.
He says, being defiant will get you killed around here.
Oh, defiance.
Not being able to pay will get you killed.
It's a good thing I'm a businessman. So what can a person with my skills get from you?
You could get a couple of them killed right now.
Oh, I'm not looking to get anybody killed. I'm looking to make some money.
So are we.
Yeah, well, like I said, I got a ship, I got a crew, I got cargo space. Maybe we can work something out.
So you got that ship? Did you just land today? Land a little bit ago?
I don't know how that's your business. I'm just offering you services.
Okay. Well, it looks like they haven't been eaten for too long, so I'm going to assume that you did come here just a few hours ago, and you may have tangled with one of our ships.
Oh.
So that might be putting you in an even worse position.
Worse position? Now, come on. Hey, Lashara, how much do Deveronian horns go for on the open market? Bam! Quick draw.
Quick draw? All right.
This guy, he dead.
All right, so you draw us a swift action, and you make your normal attack.
I'm assuming I'm pretty close to him. Maybe not point blank, but close.
I'd say it's at short range.
Okay. I just roll the attack, right? That's all I do?
With your, you don't have a base attack yet. So it would be your dexterity bonus.
So 14 plus 3 is...
17.
Yes, 17.
All right. The shot, he falls backwards as you quick pull out, and the shot goes clean by.
Okay.
His AC is 23. So
I'm never going to hit him.
So it goes past him, and like it almost gets his horn in his eye, and he lays back on the ground.
Yeah.
And with that, it's initiative.
All right.
For everybody.
Well, everybody that wants to fight anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think I just got us all killed, guys.
That'd be 18 for me.
Okay.
You didn't get me killed. I'm not there.
Coming up next week.
I rolled 13. Did you get that, Kirk?
13 for Seth.
I got a 14.
14 for Greg.
Did you say his defense is 23?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
And what'd you got? 20?
I got 18 for my initiative.
Oh. I thought you had more than
Can I take 10 to hit him?
No. If it was like a bottle, or something like that, yeah, you could, but gosh.
It is possible for me to hit him and not roll a 20. I'd have to roll a 19,
right?
But it's possible.
I'd have to roll a 20.
Oh, I do have a -2 for medium range, -2 to my difficulty number for having far shot.
So I've been
80.
21. Far shot.
Yeah, this was as far shot. A 0 for short range, 2 for medium range, and -5 for long range.
Okay.
Difficulties. Would that mean that I'm at short range then?
It reduces your difficulty for firing at those ranges, I believe.
Yeah.
So whatever those normal difficulties would be, that get reduced down.
Okay.
Right. So your point blank is effectively up to your short range. Your short range is up to your That's what happens. Everything gets knocked down a category.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, he was within point blank for you.
Was he?
Because if he was in short range and you've got far shot, then that makes him.
Let's look up the ranges. Ranged modifiers.
I mean, it wouldn't matter. At point blank, I still would have missed him. Dude's got a hell of an AC.
He's a muscle for a reason.
Yeah, and you have to remember, it's like you get, if he's wearing armor,
right,
that gets bonuses. You get class bonuses, and then on top of that, maybe you don't have very high armor or something like that, but you do have like a high level. Yeah, we hit level 6. My AC will be 23.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Short range. That should all. I think it's just a standard table for all the ranges, I believe.
Rifles and pistols each have a different range.
Okay. So that's something we need to probably write down on your weapon stuff. Where'd it go?
Yeah, probably. Since I'm not involved in this, how about I look it up?
I found it. Pistols point blank is 0 to 20 squares, so that's 25 feet.
80 feet.
80 feet. Yeah, that's within point
So
blank.
I was within point blank range of this guy.
Yeah. So you have a
80
plus.
feet seems really crazy for point blank.
Each square is what?
5 feet.
I can't hit something at 80 feet with a pistol at all. That was a real one anyway.
I believe it's a square, yeah. Because 6 squares is the point blank for throwing stuff. It's 30 feet. That's about right.
Yeah, 30 feet. Yeah. 80 feet isn't really that far, even with a pistol.
Heavy weapons are 50.
Pretty far.
Rifles are 30. So what was your minus to point blank?
I get a +1 for point blank.
Oh, so it still wouldn't have done it, but
No, I still wouldn't have done it.
all right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So he turns and double moves out the way he came.
What? Coward.
Um,
And what are the dogs tripping?
they all hit the dirt as soon as you start. Well, they're still like in mid surprise that you shot on them. They're screaming and
Is
everything.
anybody else though really that I shot at him? Nobody's surprised, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
So that's Slash. You're next.
And he's still within view.
Yes. All right. So he is moving at 6. Yeah, he's moving normal. So he's moving 12.
And he hasn't drawn a weapon or anything yet.
No, he's got his hand on his weapon, but he's running out.
Away.
Yeah. So I'm assuming he can move the normal 6. So he moves 12. Say he was about 10 squares away. So 34 squares right now.
Okay. Lashara is not used to this type of thing. She is not going to draw. She's going to help some people that kind of, hit the ground.
Oh, yeah. People are everywhere.
Yeah, she's going to try to help people out of what she's considering the line of fire, at least for the moment.
All right. That is Greg. It's your turn again.
Okay. I am going to move in his direction. I can't double move and attack him, right?
No.
I can only move and attack him.
Swift move and a full attack. So you can move and do one move action. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume so. Then I will move so that he's not quite as far. And I'm going to... there's no aiming or preparing a shot or anything like that.
Like running shot would be the only thing you could do, really.
There is aiming. Aiming is a thing. And it does...
I think you have to stand real still for a...
Yeah, I don't think you get to move. I don't think you can move and aim.
All right.
Gotcha.
So you move
Okay.
to the other side of the edge of the camp, basically, is where you get to. And you can do... Well, you'd have to aim from where you're at if you're going to... Well, you don't need to do that.
I'm not going to aim.
So you can move and then shoot.
Okay.
And he's still at point blank.
I rolled a 50 according to that. 23.
23 hits.
Is a natural 20 a critical or anything?
Well, that's the thing is like the system. I don't know which page it's on, but the system does do critical hits and critical misses. A 20 always hits no matter what. Okay. A 1 always misses no matter what.
Okay.
Like D&D, this does not apply towards skill checks as auto success or auto failure. And on a critical hit with a weapon, the normal critical is ×2. So
Okay,
you roll all
roll.
your dice, add all your modifiers, and then multiply that whole thing by 2.
Okay.
Okay. So 3 die 8. So 8. So 17. Do I multiply that by 2 or do I just roll 3 more dice?
You multiply that by 2.
Okay. So
And if you have point blank shot,
I do.
that gives you a +1 to damage as well.
I feel like he's already out of that range though, right?
No. He was like 36 away.
So 18 points damage then.
×2, so that's
No,
36.
times 2, so 36.
Yep. All right. You get him square in the shoulder. And that is Seth's turn.
Does that hit a damage threshold or whatever the heck it is? Condition?
Yes, it does. All right. So he's now minus one on his defenses.
Okay.
Point blank and the aiming feats are stuff that I was planning on taking for my character, which is why I know what they do.
36.
You said aiming is a +1, right? But you have to take 2 swift actions to get there.
Aiming removes cover.
Yeah.
If you take careful shot, which is a feat, then you get a +1 every time you aim.
All right, I got it.
So careful shot, point blank shot, and far shot is a great combo because if you aim, you get +2 to attack, +1 to damage. Your point blank is longer, and you ignore all of their cover.
Cool.
All right, Seth, it's your turn.
All right. Well, I'm a skirmisher, so I'm gonna move closer to him to gain a bonus
Okay.
on my attack. I'll go 6 squares closer to him.
Okay, so you're up next to
And
Greg.
then I'm gonna use the bowcaster.
Okay.
Do you have a bowcaster?
I do,
That's some Rhodian.
and I did not hit him for sure.
Okay. All right. So top of the round, him getting hit, he spins around,
This is where I die.
and he has lightning draw, so he draws and fires as a standard action.
I may regret moving up next to you.
14, does that hit your reflex?
It sure does. No, it doesn't. 16 is my
There
reflex.
you go. It goes off into the distance. And he takes off.
I spare a quick glance at Jad like this.
And he takes off running again.
All right. But just one move or 2 swift actions?
With lightning draw, he draws and fires as a standard action, so he has a swift left over and he makes a move.
Okay.
All right, so that is Lash. People have split, and there's a couple of the older ladies that are wanting to get the food off the fire and everything, but a lot of the younger people have run for their houses, crying. Some are screaming still. As a big blaster shot goes flying through the middle of town.
Crowd?
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. I could have thought about this a little bit more clearly, I think.
So whose turn is it?
Lash.
Lash. Okay. Yeah. So again, she's not. She's kind of scared to get in the fight right now.
Okay.
So she's just going to, like, if anybody has, had difficulties getting away from this,
Yeah.
little, kids or something like that, that she's going to, kind of dive in and help
Yeah.
them up to clear the battlefield.
Yeah, the kids and the old people. The old people are being stubborn. They're wanting to get their food off of the fires or pick things up as everyone else is running around kicking things over. That's the main part of that. So you're pulling some people off. You're grabbing the food for them while they're trying to slowly pick it up and things like that. So that leads us to Greg.
All right. Moving forward
Okay.
and making the same action that I did last time. And I miss horribly with an 8.
Okay. Seth.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna move, maybe sidestep a little bit instead of going toward him.
Okay.
2 spaces, 2 square, 2 hexes, whatever.
Okay.
And
A knight's move.
yeah, try again. Well, I rolled 1 better that time, but
Okay.
it's only a 10.
All right. Top of the round, he does the same thing. He turns and shoots. 13 does not hit you, Greg, does it?
16.
Okay. It flies past you and goes through the middle of town and sparks off of one of the spit roasts they had going on.
Was that close to Lashara?
Yes, and people are screaming as it explodes. Sparks everywhere.
Okay.
I'm not smart enough to feel like I'm going to be judged by Lashara at this point.
So Lash, it's your. As it explodes, the spit falls into the fire, and the meat slowly starts sliding. The old lady says, "Save it."
Lashara's pissed off now because it just like got all over her clothes and everything.
Yeah. Burn holes, little burn holes.
And she's got a bit of a temper, so she's going to go ahead and draw and fire a shot.
Okay.
At me?
Huh?
At me for getting us into this?
Yeah. This crew's bullshit. She just shoots you point blank.
Well, it was fun gaming with you guys.
No, so she's going to shoot at, what's his name, Venin?
Okay.
It disappeared.
And does not hit.
Okay.
Rolled an 8 plus. Damn it, my character sheet just closed.
I'd say he's at
she missed.
short range, so it's a -2 right now.
Yeah, she missed.
Okay. All right. So that puts us to Greg again.
Move forward.
Okay.
Mutter something like, stand still. And I pull the trigger. God. 7.
Goes off into the dark. Seth, it's your turn.
All right. Well,
Please hit him, Seth.
Yeah, I'm gonna move a few more hexes and try again. 15.
Goes off into the distance on the other side of him. You see him running, and he stops and turns, but it looks like he's squatting, and he does one more shot, and that's going to do it. That's a 22.
Woof. Yep, I'm hit. Heavy blasters, 3d8.
14 points of damage.
Ooh, I have 6 left. And that exceeds my damage threshold by 1, so I'm now at -1.
Okay. And with this shot, it doesn't cauterize itself. The way he shot you, it looks like it's starting to bleed profusely, and you can't get it to stop. So you have a persistent condition right now called bleed, which you're going to have to get stitched up to get it to stop.
All right. How many hit points do I lose per turn?
There's no loss. You just keep bleeding. So eventually you will, I think, drop down on condition track if you don't get it taken care of. And with that, as a swift action, he starts up the speeder bike that's been sitting out on the edge way on the edge of town, and he takes off into the darkness.
Okay.
Lashara is going to rush over there and pull out a first aid kit.
Okay.
I'm going to lie on the ground.
Yeah, you're in a lot of pain.
And hold my chest.
Yeah.
Up to me.
And then I look up, and the muzzle of Lashara is right there. And I go, all right, good idea, bad idea.
She says, very, very bad idea.
Roll my head back, grunt in pain.
Let's see. She has some medicine skill, I believe.
I hope
Something
so.
like that. Yeah, she's trained in treat injury. And she has a med kit. So if there's anything I can do right there to help his condition, I'm going to attempt to do that.
All right. I think it drops you down another tick on the condition track and the bleed. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's persistent. It can't be removed without. Come on, advertisements. Can't be removed without certain circumstances. Anytime a condition is persistent, you cannot use the recover action to move steps up on the condition track, and you cannot regain any hit points from natural healing. However, once a persistent condition is removed by satisfying the requirements stating in its description, you can move up the condition track and heal normally.
Does this work like D&D? Do I recover hit points at the end of a combat?
No, this is. I think it's per day.
Okay.
Resting for 8 consecutive hours, uninterrupted hours, usually removes all debilitating conditions afflicting the creature and returns it to normal state. Some causes, such as poison and hunger, may prevent these from improving. So there's going to have to be a little bit of a medical. Do they even have medical before I even say anything like that?
Yeah, treat injury.
Treat injury. So you're going to have a successful treat injury to get the bleed to stop, and then you can start moving up on your condition track.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and try to do that now.
Okay. It's really dark where you're at. Not much light out here.
I rolled a natural 20, and it is a +6, so 26.
Okay. You take a piece of gauze and poke it in the hole.
Ow!
You put a piece of tape over it. And it's
I'm not being gentle. She's pissed.
The gauze has some sort of little chemical in it that stops the bleed.
Okay.
Hurts like hell and it burns.
Are you still working on me, or is that the extent of my medical treatment for the day?
She puts a piece of tape over it. You're done.
Yeah. That's it. That's all you get.
Okay. I roll to the side. I'm like, oh, God. I was shot, right?
If this is a first aid attempt, you get 1 point for every 1 point of, so whatever her level plus 1, you get that many hit points back.
So 2.
You get 2.
That's great.
And yes, the treat injury does stop the bleed condition
There you go.
on a DC 15 check, provided you have a med pack.
Yep.
Okay, good. I have 6 hit points now. I'm a first level wizard.
Well, she like kind of kicks some dust at you, and when you're complaining about being shot, and she says, "We better." She looks over at you and I'm sorry, what's Seth's character's name?
Jad.
Jad looks over at Jad and says, "We better get out of here before he comes back." And kind of looks at Panna to see what Panna is, what kind of reaction he's having.
He is. He comes out from hiding, and he has no weapons on him at all, and he has a very worried look on him as he's looking around. He's kind of stunned. You guys come walking back in with him limping, or being, someone's got him over his shoulder. He says, "Well, that could have gone worse."
You were standing there in open defiance of the guy. He was going to go find a group of people to come here and kill all of you. What was I supposed to do?
I don't know.
What was your plan? What were you going to do?
We were just going to pay the thing if we could.
That's not what you said. You said you weren't going to pay him. My laughing is not laughing. That's me shuddering in pain, actually. I'm like, you said you weren't going to pay him. You hired me, and you said you weren't going to pay him. You must have had a plan, right?
Hopefully we could have sold some more ore out from underneath them and hired some people to protect us, but we don't have that money right now.
4,000, right?
We've done these before with him. We've dealt with him before. We know he's a lot more talk than what she's willing to do.
I shot him, got up, and continued fighting.
They probably would have. No, but they haven't done anything more than rough some people up in town. No one's been killed or anything. But he says, "I have a feeling it's gone a little too far now that you've traded blaster shots with them, because we don't have any blasters in the town. So you want to take the ore and split it, and we could figure out the food later."
You guys need the food. Is there anywhere you can hide?
I think we'll be okay for a little bit. Not really. He says we could pick up and move for a couple of days, maybe. But
this is where the mine is.
This is where the mine is, yeah. And if we're gone, instead of beating us up, they might tear the town or the mining spot up.
Why would they do that? But, okay, I get it. You're in a bad spot. And I look at Jad, and I go, "Jad, they're in a bad spot." And I lean in. Yeah.
He says, "I don't know how you're going to get the parts unless the guy who stayed behind at the ship goes and gets them, but he knows your faces now."
I guess we're going to have to send a crew.
And he says, "My plan was to keep the attention on me with being boisterous so that they wouldn't notice you sitting next to us."
That was my plan. Didn't work out.
No, did not work out. So We probably have 2 days before they do anything. They usually are in no hurry. It makes it worse that we wait. So I guess we can move most of the people out farther.
All right. I guess let's get back to the ship. Right? Look at Lashara this time.
There's probably about over 50 people in this town.
Lashara looks at Don and says, how are we going to get the ship fixed now?
Well, we're going to send a crew in to get the parts. And thankfully, a crew is a very, very convincing guy. Plus, he knows motors better than I do. I look around suspiciously after saying that.
You can make a list up of the things you need.
No, he does literally.
Yeah.
He literally knows machines better than I do. He's an intuitive, apparently. So,
what's both your mechanic scores?
They're the same.
Are they?
But
okay.
yeah, mine is. Shoot, I moved off the page. Hold on.
Mine is 8.
I think mine is also. I can't alphabetize though. Yeah, mine's 8 also.
Okay. Okay. So, he calls someone over. It's a young kid. He says, you're going to have to go into town with them and make introductions to the mechanic. The kid shakes his head, yeah. He says, I guess get back as fast as you can and fix that speeder. That's the only thing I could tell you.
Yeah. I'll tinker with it on our way so that we can, whatever it is that we have to, it'll be quick when we get there.
Okay. So the cart's already loaded up. The people are coming out. They're kind of picking up the food, salvaging what they can.
Are we taking ore?
Yeah, they don't have it ready yet. So when the cart comes back in a couple hours, they can start loading it up.
Okay.
While we're on our trip back, I'm going to sit in the back of the cart and fiddle with the bowcaster and try to figure out why I missed the guy 3 times in a row.
Roll your mechanic skill.
That's it.
I should probably roll mine as well.
Yeah, both of you.
Ooh,
I guess I'm going to try to drive the cart, which is not good.
18.
26.
Nice.
26. Yeah.
26, you're able to get this thing prepared in an hour. And it's ready for just the part that you need. And you think you know the parts you can pull from the Ripper, which will then have to be replaced one way or the other.
Right. We'll have to swap them back.
Or you can get more parts since you're going to a mechanic, and then you'll have a functional speeder.
I rolled a 5.
5. Can't figure it out. This thing is a mess. But it's been damaged. It's used, so you don't know what's quite wrong with it anyway. Again, you found it, scrapped it from one of the ships.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you guys jump on the thing. It's heading back. Losh, are you staying at the town, or are you going with them?
No. I'm going with them.
Okay.
I'm going to pilot, or I'm going to be the driver for the cart.
Okay. Do you have any animal handling or anything like that?
I have a +3
Ride?
in pilot. I have a +3 in ride.
Let's do ride.
Okay.
Pilot is for anything mechanical.
Yeah.
Ride is for anything beast driven.
That is a 19.
19. You're able to get him to go faster than they normally would. So just about the time he gets finished tinkering with the speeder, you guys are at the Ripper, and the landing lights are on and everything, so it's all lit up. And Hakru is sitting on the walk-up ramp, and the droid's floating next to him, and they're playing cards or something. They've gotten all their work done.
You've got like Bollywood music playing in the background, just we're just chilling, have no idea what's happening.
No. They get back with the money and a speeder bike, and it looks like Dodd has been shot pretty solidly in the chest or in the upper shoulder.
Yeah. So crew, he sees the speeder bike. And oh, you all made out very well. Yes. Oh.
Yeah, we're doing great. I say as I'm holding my shoulder together.
Lashar's lips are curled up.
Did they not want to pay, or what? What happened with this?
Deveronian, really big. Really
Who is
hard to
Deveronian?
hit. Okay. The quick version, and if anybody else wants to explain this, I'm all about hearing your explanation. Quick version. Bad guys in the village, or bad guys in the town ahead, running a protection scheme, right? On our people, who are pretty decent, hardworking, generous, and they gave us food and money and a job. So I tried to deal with or reason with this heavy that came to town to basically take their money away.
I thought you said it was the crew, not heavy.
Deveronian.
Deveronian.
But he was heavy. It's an adjective.
Fat man?
Tall, big, muscular, horns.
You just see this just not sinking into a crew at all.
You've got horns. He's got horns. I say.
Look,
Anyway,
yes, I know
we need
what
you
horns
to-
are. Yes.
We need you to go into town and get the parts that we need for the ship.
He
And,
points back the way you came. Back to town?
Not that town. Maybe somebody else should explain this. I've had a lot of blood loss.
Yeah. So
That's
most
it.
importantly, I found out that this bowcaster doesn't shoot straight. I gotta fix it somehow. That's the most important thing we figured out.
How crew holds out his hand like, let me see it.
Hold on. Let's fix the ship first and then the bowcaster. I know it's really important, Chad. I know it's important.
I need parts to fix the ship though.
Yes.
The whole left
There's-
thrust, the
turns
port
out
thrusters are
there's-
gone.
There's a settlement. So where we went was this way. Where the settlement is that way, and I point in the direction that I'm given to understand that the town is. We need 2 parts from the ship in the speeder. Oh, and this guy, he's a dog from the village. Hi or whatever. Yeah. He's going to go with you to the town. And I can't go because I'll get us all killed.
Okay.
I do have disguise.
Leto comes too.
Who is late? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could take the droid. That's fine. I don't know why I'm giving anybody permission between you and me. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm sorry, everybody. So,
since everyone speaks binary, I'm just going to talk as the droid, and the droid is going to be a Slim Pickens version, as in Black Hole. So
okay, nice.
So he says, I'll go. We're picking up parts and riding on a speeder.
Yes, it was their turn to leave. Now it is our turn.
That sounds about right. What parts do you need for the speeder?
These 2. While I was on my way, I did a bunch of fixing here, and it looks like I need one of these and one of these. And I think we have them in the ship.
Okay.
Our crew starts looking around.
It turns and then floats off up the ramp.
Yeah, Hakuru just starts looking at the speeder and just looking at it himself.
It's not bad. It's not in bad shape. It's just a little speeder bike. Nothing fancy.
Does it look like a piece of a pod racer?
No.
Oh.
No.
Not everybody gets one of those.
Not everybody gets
By
one
the
of
way,
those.
fellas, I don't know if you know this. When I'm putting my hand on my head, that means I'm talking out of character. It's a really, really old habit. So you just ignore it or adopt it. Do whatever you want, but just so you know.
That's why I go with voices. If you hear my normal voice, then I'm out of character.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I remember Before I did voices, I did hand on the head all the time.
Yeah.
All right.
It prevents me from talking out of character a lot too because it's more effort. I look at Lashara. I said, Lashara, maybe you should fill him in on some of the other details because I feel like I'm not doing a real good job of translating.
And she shakes her head and she says, I don't want to talk about it right now. That was such a bad decision.
Chad?
Yeah, this bowcaster. Really help with it.
You know, clearly it doesn't sound like it's that important. You made your errand, I go on mine. It's all good. We'll be fine. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Lashara looks over and she goes, all I can say is that is not how you practice diplomacy. And she like shoots a nasty look at Dodd, and
Dodd looks hurt.
And says, "You fire first. Is that always how you roll?"
He does not roll. He walks. He has legs.
I was going to answer with something kind of terse, but as that answer comes in, I look over it just,
and it's like it's in the most like innocent tone, like he just doesn't get it.
So I look at Lashard and I say, "Like the man says."
She walks off, and she goes up into the ship. She needs a break from this level of scary drama.
Right. I would like to suggest, however, fellas, now that Lashara's, when she makes her grand exit, a bit of urgency is probably called for here. There's a group of about 50 people who are going to lose their lives if we don't manage to come up with a plan. And the first part of the plan is have the ship working.
So plan has not changed then?
Urgency is the change.
That's why we have speeder bike.
Yes. I go into the ship and find a place not near Lashara to sit.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sit on
So now Chad,
on the ramp
Chad
and wait.
and her crew are hanging out.
Leto comes out with the parts, takes them down.
I'll help him fix the bike.
Okay, he drops a part in your hand and starts doing the other one. Yeah, that is a 23 to put his part on. So go ahead and roll your mechanics.
Okay, I rolled a 15 total.
Okay, good enough. It wasn't anything crazy. It had all been cleaned up and good to go. So it takes about 15 minutes, and the speeder bike is working.
It starts up. Ooh,
Yeah.
this is going to be fun. Now, so I'm looking at the picture of Leto, and he looks like just like a ball.
Yeah.
Does he have like hands, or am I gonna like have him tucked?
He has little
in
clamps that come out from the front part. But he also there's two spheres at the bottom of his carapace, and those he has those magnetized.
Oh, okay.
So he can stick to things, and if he needs to get up higher, they extend out.
Okay, cool. So he'll magnetize himself to the speeder bike.
Yep.
I'll drive it. Leto's gonna magnetize himself to the speeder bike. I'm going to drive it, and I was only kind of half paying attention because I wasn't there, and it helps me prevent metagaming. But like a child is with us,
Yes.
or is it like a young adult?
He's a young adult. He's like 14.
Okay.
14 in a rural.
Oh, it's a child. Okay.
I mean, 14-year-old in a farm environment is adult age to be doing stuff.
Probably married.
Yeah, almost married. Yeah.
Third kid.
He's birthing age.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna have little boy Blue ride back.
Okay.
And hold on. Then.
Okay.
It's the difference. Like, do I tuck you in front or do you hold on in the back? 14, you hold on in the back.
Yeah. Okay. Who is taking the cart back to town to fill it with ore?
I'll do that.
I have a ride of 3.
You're pretty banged up, though.
Yep.
Lash, are you going back? Or are you staying with the ship?
I'm hiding in my bunk area at
Okay.
the moment. I
Okay.
don't know what like. They'd have to ask.
Okay.
You know,
So if no one,
there needs to be some peace made.
okay, so if no one asks, then Jad gets on the cart and starts heading back, while Dodd and Lash are left in his ship. Speeder bike takes off, and every once in a while you see his hand point out, and he kind of guides you in the direction. So within
The kid can't see it, but Hakru has the biggest grin on his face. This is literally the most fun he's ever had in his life.
so basically,
I gotta admit, that would be pretty fun
yeah.
to ride a, you know.
Yeah. In the dark with no terrain really features that are messing anything up. And the moon's out, or one of the moons is out, so it's pretty bright. You basically skim next to the town, and then he has you curve around, and you basically go off in the direction where, if you had been there, where the other speeder bike took off. So,
Okay.
and it doesn't take, well, it's a day away, so I'm going to say it takes about 2 hours of riding.
Okay.
Yeah, just keeps going. The cart takes about an hour and a half. Make a ride roll.
7.
7 with your ride.
Yeah, I'm rolling really well today.
It gets there. You get there in an hour and a half, and they have large crates ready to be loaded up on this thing, ready to go. So they start loading it up almost as soon as you stop.
All right. I'll definitely just stand off to the side and watch. And not help lift.
Roll gather information.
15.
All right, it's not too bad. People are packing up and preparing for like a camping weekend, basically. Tents and things like that are being gathered up. People are kind of upset. They feel like they're really in a lot more danger now than they would have been before. But Panist is going around talking to them, trying to keep them under control, keep them moderately not so upset.
If anybody comes over me and says anything, I'll just be like, hey, I didn't start that.
Yeah, they don't say anything. They kind of avoid you. They're doing their own thing. They're packing up the town as best they can. And you do see a couple other crates are being moved in from farther out. So it's up to you if you want to go and investigate or anything like that. So
Yeah, I'll take a hike over.
okay, you walk about 100 yards off to the side, and you see it looks like a pit has been dug where this mineral is being harvested out of the low. They've got like these pits set up with the sandy water where you've kind of saw before, and these crystals are sort of growing out of these pits, white selenite looking crystals, and they're popping them apart and laying them in these crates and moving them out. And that's their mining operation, basically. And they've got, it looks like, about 5 loads from what your ship could take sitting around in boxes while they're still mining some others. So,
Okay.
and they're also moving what you can't take. Seems like they're moving them somewhere else to hide them. Don't know where.
Yeah.
So, it takes them about a half an hour, so the cart's full and pretty heavy. They turned it around, so it's ready to go. Go ahead and make another ride roll.
10.
10. Not too bad. It's going to take you about 2 hours to get back because it's loaded down pretty heavy.
Cool.
All right. So about this time, Hakru, the boy taps you and points down to stop. And you guys stop quite a ways out from this little, it's not little, it's a pretty good sized city.
Be right back.
Okay. But he says to stop here and we'll walk in.
No port bike?
No. He says, I think they'll figure out that you came with the group as an outsider. So we've got to sneak into town.
Oh, okay.
And so he gets off, and the droid unlatches itself and starts following really low behind. And he walks kind of swiftly for a while until he gets up to where like the city lights are kind of bleeding out a little bit. And then he starts slowing down. And there are a few buildings in the outlying part that aren't lit up. But he starts sneaking at this point.
When Hakru sees him like sneaking, that's when he's also going to like bend down and start sneaking along with him. Yeah.
And he looks back at the droid and he says, "Can you dim your lights?" And he says, "Why, sure I can." And the lights go down to real low. And basically, what'd you roll for your stealth?
24.
Yeah, that's what he rolled too. So you guys easily make it into a good portion of town and looking around corners and then moving. Perception roll?
Sure. Look. Oh, damn. Okay. 27.
27.
Not my max.
As you're sneaking at one point, you hear two guys talking, and they're walking past. They said they're going to have to call some more guys down from the headquarters to go rough up the town a little bit, but they won't be here for a while. And one of them says, "But she still wants to talk to us anyway, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, she wants us there pretty quick." And so they're kind of moving swiftly through the streets. And the kid points in the direction they came from, down a couple alleys, finally gets to a door, and he knocks on it with 3 knocks and then two short knocks, and the door opens up, and there's no light on the inside, and the kid walks in. And he waves to come in real quick. He darts in.
Yeah. Hakru, like, this whole, like, being quiet and listening to everything is second nature to him, just going through. Okay. And when the door opens, as soon as he sees the kid start walking in, like, the kid passes the barrier. He goes, like, there's a 3 beat, and then he follows.
Okay. And the droid slips in, too, and the door closes. You walk into a tiny little entryway where there are sheets put up, and you're standing in a foyer that's kind of darkened so that when he opens the door, light doesn't come flooding out. Once the door is closed, they pull back curtains, and it's a small living area. Workbench on one side, small, sparse living on the other side, and it's a humanoid person. He looks like the people from the town. He's got sort of a dog nose. He says his name is Shinna. He asks what he can do for you, and the kid says they need some parts for their ship. He's helping us. He's helping getting us food, and they need parts to go out and sell some of our minerals we pulled out of the ground or out of the pits. And he kind of looks at you, not suspiciously but wary. The kid says, "We need to do this kind of quick because it sounds like they're going to be coming to the town to rough us up a little bit." He kind of nods. He says, "Is my mom okay?" And he says, "Yeah, she's evacuating right now." Nods his head again. He goes, "Well, come on back to the back. Let's see if we got the parts for you." And he goes through another little door, and there's a workplace big enough for not a big starship, but maybe a fighter. Lots of parts everywhere. Mismatch of everything. Some broken down droids, some broken down speeder bikes. Lots of parts everywhere. It's like a mini junkyard almost on shelves.
Yeah. And Hakru, while he has the list and has stated what he needs, he is actively looking through the junk.
Yeah.
Like the more like junky it looks,
yeah,
the more he's like drawn to go look at it.
Yeah. Perception roll.
Not as good. 20.
Okay. You're seeing a lot of things that you could possibly get as replacement parts for things that you know on the ship that are, from what you've worked on it a little bit, there's some other parts that are looking a little old, a little stressed out that maybe you can just get them to have them as spares. But you spot a couple of the parts that you need for the hyperdrive. He's got like 2 or 3 of them. So
okay, yeah. I would say like in total, there's the stuff that he needs for the ship that we know we need. That stuff Hakru would be more looking towards like the better quality.
right.
And then, like I said, like the junk parts, he's looking at those too as literally like something to tinker with.
Yeah. The speeder bike parts pop up in your mind as you're walking through all the junk. You're seeing the 2 things you just put on the bike that you're going to need back on the ship to get it going again too.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, "Do you have your list?"
He's like, yes, and he hands him like a scribbled down piece of paper with all the parts.
Yeah, we got this. We got all this. We got all this. Is this all you need?
Also, so we had to take some parts to make my bike work. So I'm going to also need a front carburetor for speeder bike, as well as the main stabilizing unit and the main magnetic pulse to make it race. I'm going to need those as well. Also, I like the front of this bike and the way it looks more than mine. So if I could get that would also be cool.
He says, if you can take my mom away from here for a couple days while you make your run and keep her safe, you can have the other bike.
Ooh.
And he walks over and he pulls the tarp off of this bike that looks like he's been tinkering on for a long time. And it's a pretty good size speeder bike. Like, you wouldn't have any problem sitting 3 people on it without being cramped. He goes, I'll give you the parts for the other speeder bike, and I'll give you this if you keep her safe. And it looks like a racing bike.
We are just running ore and food, nothing dangerous. I don't see why not.
He says, if you keep her off planet while they go and rough up the town, I'll know she's safe.
Okay. What is your mother's name?
Get back to my notes. Lena.
Yes. I will let everyone know that Lena is going to come on our ship, and she will come with us when we go run the ore, because I guess that's our next job.
Okay.
And we will bring her back when we bring back food. I don't know how long that will take, though.
He goes, do you have an anti-grav sled? I don't think they have one in the town. And you picture the creatures pulling the wheeled cart.
Not anti-grav. We have like frog things in cart.
He goes over and pulls out this other thing and turns it on, and it lifts up. And it's about the size of the game table, and it's floating off the ground. He says, you could probably hook this up to the speeder bike and make a lot faster time back and forth.
Oh, yes, we could.
We're
going to need a chain.
It'll help you unload it, because you can load it up, put it in your vehicle, and then strap it down.
Yes. Like everything like he sees, like every time he sees it, he knows exactly what it's for and how to make it work.
So he gets the thing, he attaches it to the bike, and he starts he has a couple of the pop-up droids, the pit droids, and they come out and they start gangling up and picking up the hyperdrive parts and the thruster parts and everything and piling them on.
Hakru's a little taken back by them. He looks over at Lado and he goes, I like you better.
I like me better too. Look at them. And he looks back, and they're fighting over like a wrench at one point, squipping at each other. They loaded up in pretty quick time. And he says, you probably need to push this out of the city. Well, no, I take it kind of slow, but I get out of the city quick, because they're doing some sort of meeting in the center of town right now where they're pulling on all the people.
Yes, I heard like she.
Yeah.
This woman named she is Tamhu.
It's the mayor. Where's her name at? Where'd she go?
Tarla.
Tarla.
Yes, character knows, but
Yeah.
person knows. Character is just like, these are names.
Yeah. Tarla. Says Tarla's called a meeting. There's not too many of them in town right now. Most of them live, I guess they have a headquarters or a hideout somewhere in a system away, but they'll probably
Yes,
come in pretty fast.
The what did you call them? Looks over later. What did you call them? Roughnecks. The Roughnecks need a few days for reinforcements to show up to rough the town. That is
Right.
what they said.
Right. So he says, "I'd get out of here right now if you can. I wouldn't piddle around with any more of the city."
No. All I needed were my parts, and I have now wonderful gifts from you.
Okay.
I mean, while we are running out getting ore and food, and your mother is coming along for the joy of the ride, is there anything else we can get for you?
He says, "Just keep her safe."
Can do.
He says, "Okay," and he pulls open one of the bay doors, and you're free to go. He says, "Just a couple turns, a left and a right, and straight on out."
Thank you, Sheena. We will be back when we can.
The boy jumps on the bike, and the droid floats over and locks onto the back of it.
I tow it on out, and as stealthily as I can
Yeah.
on a speeder bike.
You feel like the speeder's got some, like when you hit it, it does the pop because it's pulling something. So it's not the ride you had in. Actually, the kid grabs the other bike. And gets on it.
But we got to get all the way to. We got to get from the shop
Yep.
to that bike, and then I was going to put him over on that one.
Yep. So a couple turns, and you get out there. It's not super fast, but it's faster than the wheeled things. And he jumps off and jumps on the other speeder and takes off.
Okay. Yeah. A crew now on his bike.
Yep.
is just happy as can be driving on back.
Yep. Do a pilot check just to make sure.
16 plus. Where's my sheet? Here we go. 25.
Yeah. You have no problem towing it in.
Well, while all that's going on, I want Lashara to. I've been looking over some of the rules, and I think I can use the force check, even though I'm not trained in the force. There's a couple skills that I can actually use,
Right.
being force sensitive. And she is not knowingly, but kind of accidentally going to use the force, the search your feelings talent. Just trying to come back to a calm state. She's pretty riled up after that encounter.
I think it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, it's a DC check. It does not
Yeah.
say you have to be trained. It's
Right.
just a 15.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like I said, she's going to be kind of doing it accidentally. I'll let you determine if she's successful here, what she figures out. She's thinking about the pirates and stuff a lot. But we will see what happens. Let's see. I'd rolled a 13. Do I add my force sensitive or anything to that?
You add your
Use the force to
use
that?
the force, yeah.
Okay, so 17.
All right. Search feelings. For an action, 15. Will yield favorable results to your immediate future. Yeah, you've got a bad feeling about staying on the planet any longer than you have to. You think you really feel you need to get this ore when it comes in off planet as fast as possible.
Okay.
Real quick.
And you think
So
that-
on the way back from the city,
Yeah.
we kind of already go near the town, right?
right.
Okay. Then with that in mind, her crew would definitely go try to pick up Lena, the
Okay.
Sheena's mom.
Okay. You get to town. Actually, they use the force, and you also feel like the townsfolk will be safe for at least a week if necessary. But beyond that, they'll start scouring the town, the landscape, and everything, bringing in ships and doing flybys and things like that.
Okay. And I'm guessing that this feeling is pretty profound. It's not just fleeting.
No, you're getting images of them being safe and camping for at least a week. And the farther out it gets, it's like you see like a storm cloud sort of settling in, and you see ships flying over and scanning, and then they start landing, and the ruffians start getting out.
Okay. I'm actually going to go talk to Nanat then a little bit, and I don't want to reveal completely like the how deep it is that I get these feelings, but I kind of want to let him know that we really got to get out of here.
Okay. He says as soon as the parts can be put in, we should be good to go, and we could try and make up time if we can, but yeah, we should be able to get there. He's looking over the coordinates of the buyer that Dodd had been given. And he says, yeah, it shouldn't take us but like a day to get there to sell the ore, and then another day to get to the food supplier, and then a day back. So in 3 days we'll be back with everything.
Okay, and then the rest of the time, because Hakru and Jab are going to be gone for like 5 hours, 4 hours, something like that.
Yeah, 4 or 5 hours.
Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is go take care of Dodd's dumbass.
Thank you.
The door opens up on his cabin, and he's sitting there, kind of half in and out of sleep. You didn't give him any painkillers, so he's still like, oh.
No, I didn't.
It only hurts when I laugh.
And she says, I do have something for the pain, you idiot. And she gets into her kit and says, I just hope you learned something. That she kind of tosses him to him where he can only grab it with the side that he got shot on.
Nice.
with the other arm as she's turning dramatically to leave, no doubt.
Yep.
Right. I reach out and I grab, not hard, but just like touch her shoulder,
Okay.
And I say, Lashara, sincerely, thank you. We've got to do something for these people.
Lashara says, well, I hope we have enough time, because I have a feeling that this is about to get really rough.
Yeah.
Thanks to you. And then she looks at him like she can't be mad that long. It's just not in her diplomatic training to hold on to this for long. But she, Dodd can definitely tell that she's aggravated as she starts to walk out the room.
Okay. The door shuts behind him, or behind her. A couple hours later, I guess you could have tea and everything in the meantime, fix something to relax yourself even more.
Okay.
But you guys ate pretty good before everything happened, so.
She's just going to start trying to get everything prepped to move, however we need to do that.
Okay. Basically, there's some rearranging of the cargo bay a little bit to make sure you can take on the amount of ore you think you're taking on. But it doesn't take any time. It doesn't take the full, 5 hours to do all this stuff. So you're a little bored by the time he gets. Oh, and you went to talk to Nanat, right? Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
He's just hanging out. So he comes and helps you move stuff around, that sort of thing. The speeder bike comes to gets to the town and stops. The kid stops too, and he says, "I'll go get her." And he jumps off the bike and runs into the village. And a couple minutes later, there's a very old lady who looks disagreeable that she is being moved by herself and no one else is coming with her. Complaining about space travel.
While the kids run off to go get her, this is the first time Hakru's seen. This is the second settlement Hakru's seen. So he's looking around, very interested in stuff. Like, what is going on over here?
Yeah, it reminds you of home, the way it's very backwater, where the other place was very like shiny and I want to touch that and I want to see that sort of stuff.
I understand this place.
Yeah, this place you're like, I know that's the communal gathering area, and that's where they keep stuff and things like that. So, the old lady comes back and she's muttering about space travel, and she's never been on a ship before, or since she's been a little girl, and she never liked it then. And the young kid's like, just get on. He gave us extra stuff to keep you safe and to take you with us. And she kind of grumbles and sits on the back of the bike, and he tells her to hold on.
When I first see her, like a crew does, like walk up to her, it's like, hello, you are Lena, mother of Sheena the mechanic?
Yes.
He is a very good person. He helps us very much.
Oh.
He always looking out for you.
You
must be proud of your son.
I am. I miss him though. Oh. I feel really bad about leaving everybody else, though. I'm not that special. I shouldn't be separated from everybody else. And she goes on and on. It's a weird anti-guilt trip sort of thing.
Yeah. It's like, it will be all right.
All right. She settles back on the back of the speeder bike and puts her hands around the kid, and she closes her eyes and leans into his back.
Before they take off, her crew puts his hand on her back. Note, I am sure we will be friends. I have been making many recently.
Just, that's very nice. Kid takes off with her, and she goes,
I wasn't done talking to my friend. And he gets on his bike, and
time to go. Take off. It takes just about 20 minutes to get back to the... It doesn't even take that. It takes like 15 minutes to get back to the ship. And the old lady is getting off by the time you're coming up, and her hair's all windblown and disheveled, and she's grumbling some more, but she picks her little kind of purse thing up. It's a pack.
Yeah.
And looks at the ship. Ooh, this is big.
Wait till you see the inside.
Oh. The kid helps her up and takes her inside.
A crew is going to take the speeder bikes and the lift back around to the bay doors to load them up.
Okay. They are in the middle of loading the ore on by the time you get back. It's just about done.
Oh, I have something for this. And he gets the lift and he pushes it.
This thing is like a cart, a floating cart, basically. So you're able to put what's left on that, and then easily push it up the cargo bay plank up into the cargo bay and start loading things on it. It fits pretty good, but it's stacked pretty high because it's a lot of mineral. And the kid, once you've unloaded the other one, the kid takes that cart back to the rest of them. And he says, I'll see you in a couple days. We're going to be off to the southeast. So, and he takes off.
And when he takes off, Hakru just looks over at Jad, because Jad was the one that was getting all the minerals for
Right.
He goes, look. In addition to the parts, the Shina, the mechanic, he gave us this push cart, which will help us load and unload things, and he gave me a speeder bike. And all we had, and all cost, was just giving his mother a ride.
Did he give you the parts for this bowcaster?
You didn't tell me to get you parts for bowcaster. You said you were going to fix it. But I did get these extra little bits. They're from Tinker Toys. And it's just like a knot of wires and scraps of metal.
The Lido has already grabbed a couple pieces and is floating around to the engine area, and he's going to start putting things in while you guys are reloading all the stuff on.
Yeah.
So there's three things that need to be fixed. If three of you want to do it, or two of you want to do it, and then help the last one.
I'll do one of them.
Okay. It's just a straight up mechanics roll.
I will also do one.
Okay.
23.
I can try to do one.
Lido puts his in pretty efficiently. Welds it in. So Hakru's got his in. Dodd, you're going to do yours?
Yep. I only got a 19, though. 18.
You're having difficulty with your part.
Okay.
So
I'll help God out.
Chad, do you want to?
I rolled an 8, so I'm gonna need help.
I'll just go to the next part.
Okay. So there was no assist on that. Lashara, do you want to assist?
Yeah, I want to help Dodd out.
Okay. So roll your mechanics. If you get a success, you just give him a +2, basically.
So Leto got a part in, I got a part in, Dodd's working on a part and is getting help from Lashara.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I only rolled a 12.
I don't think that does. I think it's a 15 you got to get to assist. All right. So our crew walks up and parts are everywhere. There's things missing. The droid floats up and goes, oh.
Like Hakru just looks at the other two bioforms, just goes, da, 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 da. 26.
Okay, and he assists you, so you got 28. So you're like, no, it goes in like this, and you flip it over, and clink, it pops right in. A couple of spot welds.
I grumble something like, I knew that.
Yes, but it requires two arms. You have one right now.
You're holding your shoulder like, oh.
Yeah.
You just took some painkillers, too, so you're all...
I'm a little foggy. I probably
this.
should have subtracted more than one from my roll.
He was going to clean his room, but then he got high.
I haven't thought about that song in a decade.
All right. So in about 30 minutes, the ship is back up and running. It wasn't too bad. Everything was fixed up well. The parts all look like they're good. They're not brand new, but they're serviceable. So you guys are ready to go?
I'm still just loving the fact that, like, Dodd got shot. Lashara had a really rough day. Jad feels really awkward about things. Hakru, best day ever.
I will talk to Nanat in the cockpit and help with navigation or something. But I'll also discuss with him the plight of the people in the village and see if he has any ideas.
Okay. So you get up there and tell him you're ready to go, and he's like sitting there waiting. He's like, you guys could have just, calmed me, and we could have been on our way already. And he flips a couple switches, and the ramps pick up. Ramps pick up, and it takes off into the night sky. What is this? You're going to be doing some empathy or something?
Well, I don't know that there's a skill for it. I just am looking to see if he has
persuasion.
any ideas. All right, persuasion.
Yeah, you're trying to get the feel for these people across.
As it happens, I'm fairly good at that. 23 minus 1, 22.
He says, "It sounds like a good plan. I feel better when I can help people out while I'm doing these jobs. So that works out well."
All right, so then best speed we can make it to the delivery, the pickup, and then let's get back here. Maybe we'll find something along the way that'll help us out.
Okay.
I would not mind if we siphoned some of the profit into something to help these people. They're giving us 50%.
We could do that.
Normally we'd get 10, 15% for the materials. I feel like we're taking advantage. I can't believe I'm saying this. I feel like we're taking advantage of them, and I heaped a lot of trouble on them. So
he says, "Well, you could see if there's another buyer that is willing to pay more."
I don't think it's. I think speed is of the essence here, and also they have an arrangement with this guy. I don't want to screw up that with them. Right?
They don't have any communication, so they just know the name and where he's at to send the ore to. So this guy has no idea. I'm
going to hit the net.
Yeah, and you think you got contacted through somebody in the other town, like they sent word to the other towns, they radioed it out, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Will this be a gather information check?
Yes.
To try to find another buyer? Okay.
I believe so.
Ooh. 18 plus 8, so 26, 25.
25, yeah, that's really good. You find one other person, and they have been looking for the ore for a couple weeks now, and he's raised his price because he's looking for it.
Okay.
So
what is the negotiation skill?
That I believe it's persuasion, isn't it?
Yeah, persuasion. Okay. I'm going to take a shot at
deception if you're wanting to lie to him, persuasion if you're wanting to just negotiate.
I'm being straight up. I feel like
Lashara is super good at this stuff, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of my job though. So, like this is what I do. But when it comes to diplomacy, I feel like that's your knack.
Does anyone have any knowledge skills?
I do.
No. Actually, Lashara, I'm sorry, Kirk, I don't mean to interrupt. Knowing that Lashara is really good at this, before I talk to this guy,
right.
I say, Lashara, let's get our heads together on this. I want to help these people.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think. So maybe you can help me. How's that sound?
So Lashara kind of spills to Dodge. She's kind of over the whole situation on the planet, and she tells him that she's been getting these waves of emotion, and she's not going to say anything about the visions or anything yet, but she tells him that she has a funny, that she just knows that they're going to be okay for about a week, but no more than that. So we have to make do in that amount of time.
Right.
So if we're going to do something, we should do it soon.
Right.
Yes. And she also thinks that we should go ahead for the troubles that we've caused. Maybe we can supply them with something maybe to help defend their town and or more food with some of the money that we're going to take on for profit since we're so, since we're getting more than we normally do and we've caused them so much trouble.
Right.
We're probably discussing this sitting around like the galley.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then I look at I look at Jad, and because Jad's the combat guy as far as I know. And I said, Jad, any ideas? What do you think? Battle droids? What would help?
Do we have any?
No. I'm thinking I could look for some.
I think battle droids are too much. I think maybe
some blaster.
An
E-Web
would be good. That's what I think.
And some sniper rifles. What do you think, Hakru? You grew up in kind of an interesting place.
Hakru just kind of looks like,
Let's say that you had a small group of people and you needed to defend them from a better armed, more mobile, and more highly advanced culture. What would you use to defend your people?
You look at Hakru, and he thinks, you like can see on his face like he's actually thinking about it. And Hakru is going to use the search your feelings. Because you're using terminology Hakru's never thought of before.
Okay.
What'd you get on?
28.
Woo.
Nat 20
He closes his eyes for a second.
Okay.
And he says, we should break the chain by supplying them with their own food, a means of making their own food. And that way, if they can't beat the pirates, they could at least pay them and still have full bellies. Because that's the only reason they're mining the ore right now is to keep food going. So is there some sort of hydroponic something or other that they could put together and feed themselves?
Yeah, it's going to have to be small if we're supplying them with a big cash load of food as well. Any ideas, Lashara? You grew up on what's Bathwi? Is that the planet?
Yep.
Yeah, you grew up on Bathwi. They're pretty advanced.
She says, yeah, I think I can find something that would be of use to them. Give me just a little while to get on to the network.
Even if
hopefully
it's like
something where we're going would be great.
Yeah.
And get me a price and I'll try to negotiate up to that.
Yeah. Even if it's a bunch of small like household gardens that they could put in all the buildings, that way
what they need is a replicator.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, one replicator would do it, but no, some sort of hydroponic garden they can keep in each of the households, maybe concealed, like it's something that comes out of the ground. It's where if they get raided, that doesn't look
mushroom tech. That's what we need is mushroom tech.
Mushroom tech. Maybe.
Are we sure we're not bringing these guys some more problems?
Not those kind of mushrooms.
I mean, maybe those kind of mushrooms.
Yeah, it's gonna be those kind of mushrooms. Not now, maybe not tomorrow.
Yep.
We're talking about shiitake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I would say, I think the other thing that a crew would throw on there would be, so yeah, they need to, these people need to be able to feed themselves, which is ultimately the problem. The second solution would be to make the snake bite itself.
Oh, that's smart. I like that.
I don't know what that means.
No, it means that you've got an inspired idea.
No, I don't know what it means to have a snake bite itself. What is a snake?
Oh. Yeah.
Like a crew's like really like, what the fuck is going? Like, this came out of me.
What would make? We certainly don't want to bring a rival gang in. We don't want to bring in the authorities. Although we could bring in the authorities. Who is the authorities?
There is none.
We're way out in the outer rim, right?
No, you're in the mid-rim, but at this time, the Republic is restarting itself from being torn up. So
I'm not going to say, what we need is a pair of Jedi.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Jedi,
what would Hondo Anoka do?
you know of the Jedi, but it's vague.
Weirdo wizards.
Yeah, you know they were involved in the last war with some other bad Jedi, and that's about it.
Would Lashara know any kind of contact that would be like civil rights group? I know it's a weird thing to say in Star Wars, but like something like that, some kind of good guys, noble cause people.
Yeah, that wouldn't take much to find, but you don't know how much power they would have because there's no real standing army anymore, and the Jedi were, until a few years ago, the standing army for the Republic, and they disarmed themselves after the war with a promise to be peacekeepers as opposed to generals going out. Sounds similar to, the aftermath of the Clone Wars, so it's roughly the same thing.
Without being wiped out entirely by a Sith Lord.
Right.
Yeah. We could bring the Reapers to them.
So, so there's no standing army. You could get the other town to liberate itself and maybe break their hold over the planet.
That takes a lot of training and weapons and time that we don't have.
Yeah.
So during this time, while you're discussing this is when the crew looks up what a snake is. And he goes, it's like, oh, I think I know what they meant. The leader is the head.
Yes.
We need her to not trust her men.
Okay.
Make them fight self.
We need a lot of information to do that.
Long-term plan. Food
Long-term
starts
plan.
it. Long-term plan. Snake eats itself.
Problem is that while we're gone, they're running around hiding. It's not going to take them too long to figure out where they went. And then some of these people are going to die. And ultimately, they deserve a better fate than that. So, I don't know. I like the idea. Sowing discontent within the organization. Do we know anybody who's a professional at that?
I don't think so.
That takes somebody on the inside.
Yeah, or somebody whose entire job is to show up in somewhere.
Yeah.
Where there's an organization and to bust it up from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could ambush them when they come back into town if you get back in time.
If the rest of their people are anything like the guy I shot at, I feel like we're maybe outmatched.
You shot at the guy? Anyways, what Hakru is going to suggest is, because he's got his little learning data pad open. It's kind of the way I see this. He's like, well, this is a crime organization, correct?
Yes.
So they are not splitting profits the way we split, which is even. There's
Not fairly, no.
right. So you don't need to infiltrate. We need to find someone
We need
who
to
is
find
already
someone,
in, who is not happy, because he is not alone.
or someone who's in and is trusted, and make it look like they're receiving some additional funds from outside the organization, something that the boss should be getting a cut on.
Like Vinin.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know
Who's
what we're
that?
talking about anymore.
That's the guy you shot at.
I didn't shoot anyone.
That's the
Oh,
guy.
God.
Oh,
I'm a great shot.
So in the short term, you know they're coming. They're going to come to the town in some sort of a force to rough it up. That's your short term problem. Medium term is you get past that problem, you solve it somehow, and then you get everyone set up with their own food producing sets, and then they can just start paying the money regularly, and then you guys can do a long term get them off the planet sort of thing. So I would say just keep it in that order. Otherwise, I think you're getting so far ahead of yourself, you're going to come back to, a squad of 10 or 15 goons just coming in to beat people up, and then you're not going to be prepared. So
Lashara is out looking for some kind of like hydroponics growing tools, whatever like that. Am I also looking for weapons? Are we going to arm these people?
I mean, it seems like the most reasonable course, but we need cheap weapons by large numbers.
Yeah. Or potent weapons that you guys can use for the initial beat up the town incident.
I have always wanted to have an e-web.
We'll put it on the list. If you see one, let me know.
I mean, how much does that cost?
60 million.
I think I have it pulled up.
Do you?
you saying an e-web or an e-whip?
E-web.
An e-web. It's a giant
blaster.
Yeah, machine gun.
Oh, okay.
With its own power source.
M60. Yeah.
I have the weapons pulled up. I just can't find it.
What you're probably going to be looking for is more like what they had in the when Mando went to the little town and they had the floating.
That was an e-web.
Was it an
Yep,
e-web?
that was an e-web, yeah.
That was an e-web.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. It's 8,000 military grade weapon.
Yeah.
It's got a cargo hold full of heavy minerals
Right.
that we're getting 50% of the sale of. I feel like we might be able to afford one of these things, but maybe not a lot else.
Well, yeah, let's can we figure that out, like how much we're going to make off of this? I mean, we've been in contact with the other guy that was looking for the ore at a bigger price.
Right. The other thing with pricing, stuff that's restricted or military, if you do not have the permits, it doubles and possibly triples the cost of these things without the permits. So you really have to look at even something. There's even some blasters that are nice, but they're restricted or they're military grade. And if you guys don't have any military credentials, it's going to be hard to get them. And no one's a soldier, unfortunately. So that's something else.
So let's negotiate our price. Lashara, you mind giving me a hand with this? We'll work out a series of hand gestures or something to allow you to let me know when I'm pushing the right buttons in the negotiation role.
Let's do Lashara. Let's do a knowledge galactic first.
Yep. Yeah, I've got that.
Looking up the ore, basically.
17.
17. You basically pull up that the price has been going up for about 5 weeks on this stuff. The price has been going up over the last couple of weeks, and it's being advertised heavily by an unknown group. So the availability of this product has also gone down in the last few weeks. So they're strangling their own market and raising the price up. So you think it will be easy to get more than what they were anticipating. You also, let's do a gather information now on the contact that he gave you.
I hope yours is better than mine. I got a 9.
I rolled a 9, but I also have a +9, so it's an 18.
Okay.
I rolled a 2.
Oh.
-1, and I have an 8.
Okay. And you find out that this contact is one of the only people in the galaxy that sells this, and so he's sort of like a gatekeeper. The person that has put out that he wants it is a buyer, basically. So if you skip the seller and sell it yourself, you can make more profit.
But are we going to be driving our time engagement up quite a bit?
And destroying some kind of reputation. Like, are we going to get in trouble with that ringleader?
We don't have a contract with anybody.
No.
We have the materials. I think we could sell it wherever we want.
And just a common sense, you think that the Tatari are using this guy to sell all their stuff. So if you suddenly show up with a load of it,
we can pop the market a little bit.
Well, if you show up to this guy with a load of it and he's expecting it to come from the Tatari only, he may not buy it. So going to the seller, going to the buyer directly would be probably more profitable and safer.
Okay. Yeah, if she learns all that, she's totally down with that.
Yeah. And he's only a day extra out. So
a day? Okay.
Yeah. So now you're up to 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So you're up to 4 days.
Okay.
So do you want to contact this new buyer?
Yeah. So let's contact this guy and see. Like, it'd be worthwhile to see if he has the other supplies, quote unquote, that we're looking for.
Okay. All right. Where'd that go? All right. All right. You make the call, and a guy comes on the screen. He's kind of balding with a little bit of hair on the sides. They're gray, and kind of wrinkled face. And he says, "This is Haro. How can I help you?"
How are you? I understand you're in the market for
Tor.
Tor.
You have Tor?
I have a cargo bay full of Tor, and I've got a few buyers interested.
Oh, how much do you have? How many? I need at least 50 tons of this stuff.
How many tons do we have?
You got about 58 tons.
I got a little more than 50 tons.
I'll take it all. I'll take whatever you have. I've got a big build going on, and we haven't been able to get as much as we need.
I understand. Well, our rates are pretty reasonable.
I'll pay whatever you need. I've been waiting on this stuff for weeks, and it just hasn't been available.
All right, send us your coordinates. We'll see you face to face. We're looking for a few other items, by the way. Agricultural in nature.
Agricultural.
Do you, by chance, have a supplier for those kinds of items?
Oh, what kind of agriculture are you looking for?
Hydroponics?
Hydroponics. No, I do not have any.
No lead on someone local? So sure would like to.
I don't know anyone that's on that right now.
Lash, you've got any ideas here?
She like whispers in Dodd's ear. Tell him we can get him a little bit of a discount if he can find what we're looking for.
Yeah. Okay. I nod and I say, look, we can maybe afford to take a little bit off of our profits if you could find someone for us.
10%?
I was thinking more like 5.
7 and you got a deal.
7.
I'm going to yell from the back. Don't forget the weapons.
He goes, I know some weapon people. I can help you out with that a little bit.
All right.
But and he starts asking the specifics about what you're looking for hydroponic wise. Do you want like a farm? Or are you doing like big, he gets it down to like you want like a wall unit or something compact that can kind of go into the ground.
Yes, that.
Space saver. Save space.
Space saver. Maybe something easy to maintain.
Okay. He's taking down notes.
Yeah.
He puts on
They
some little
had
glasses.
trouble with water there, right? Like we might want a water evaporator.
Irrigation,
They do.
moisture evaporator,
Water's
Moisture evaporator.
pretty prevalent.
but it's below the water table.
It is
below the ground.
Yeah, so they would need some sort of pump, I guess. But that could be put off away from the town, and then
Yeah.
some underground piping or whatever. Okay.
You conduit.
I can do the conduit. I can do the build stuff. And after talking to him for a couple minutes, you realize he's like a home builder, a building builder. So that sort of stuff, he has no problem.
So we just called the intergalactic general contractor.
Yeah, basically.
Sweet contact.
He's like, if you want, I can.
Do you mind if I save your number, by the way?
Yeah. He says I can actually send a small crew, and they can install all this stuff too, probably. For another.
Stop rates when we arrive.
Oh, okay. That's fine. That's fine. And he blops out. He didn't. So it's going to take you 2 days to get to him in hyperspace. So basically, you have. What do you guys want to do in the meantime, or do you want to yada it away?
I think we'll probably spend a lot of time discussing plans and reading, and I'll be doing some healing. But I can't speak for everybody.
Yeah. We'll kind of yada it. I don't think there's anything
Yeah, I'm
particularly.
in agreement about what kind of weapons the guy can get us.
I have a question, guys. What do you guys think of, speaking of contractors, what do you guys think of a mercenary crew? We could maybe hire mercenaries. Single
It really kind of
engagement?
depends. It really kind of depends on the amount of money we're talking here.
I bet the Mandalorians would do it for cheap. They like a fight. Of course, I probably don't know who the Mandalorians are, so
I probably do.
Canduras or Ordo's got to be around here somewhere. Anyway, but yeah, what about a group of mercenaries?
I mean, again, it's all about how much money we negotiate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If we barely have enough money for an E-web, then hiring a batch of mercenaries may be outside of our range.
maybe. I don't know. I've never hired a mercenary before.
We don't know how much we're going to make here.
I've been hired by mercenaries before, but never the other way around.
So, Hakuru has no interest in that discussion, to be perfectly blunt. But Jad's bowcaster, he is interested in, and Jad, he offers to help with its repairs to make it shoot better if you let him play with it.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. Here you go.
Okay, cool. So I need an hour of time. I know this is only 1 hour, but I'm going to use the mechanics skill Hotshot.
Okay.
It's a DC 20 check.
Okay.
If I succeed, it does an extra 3 points of damage. However, on a 5 or lower, the weapon becomes disabled, and on a 1, it explodes.
Hey, all right. I don't know this, but I guess I'm not stepping back.
Oh yeah. Well, no.
When you use it,
When you
what
use
happens?
it, when you attack, if you roll a 5 or lower, the weapon just becomes disabled, which means I just got to fix it. And if you roll a 1, it blows up.
You better
By
be
the
using
way,
some force points.
I succeeded.
Okay. Don't forget you can use your force points for like specific stuff too. What does that do?
You haven't looked into those too much yet. I've been mostly focusing on mechanics and pilot.
Yeah.
So you succeeded, so now it does a +3 damage.
Yeah, it does +3 damage. So it does in fact shoot better. It just doesn't aim any better.
Yeah.
All right.
And every time you shoot it, like the muzzle glows a little bit now, like red.
All right.
And when he's all done, he kind of hands it, huh? It worked.
All right. So on your turn, you may spend a force point as a free action to roll a d6 and add the result to a single attack roll, skill check, ability check. You can only do this once per round, and at 8th level, you get to roll 2d6 and add it to stuff. So just remember that if you do roll low, you can use a force point to possibly keep it from blowing up in your face.
That will
How do
probably
we
happen.
get
Well, the thing is,
points
so on
back?
with the
Every level.
hotshot skill, it is entirely determined by what number is on your d20. It's not a 5 total. It's if you roll a 5 on the d20 or lower, it's disabled.
I'm going to say with the force points, that's going to add that directly to the die roll.
Okay.
Because, you can do this once per round. You, instead of rolling a 2d6, you take the best die result. Okay. Yeah, it affects the die itself. So,
Otherwise, it's a 25% chance that your weapon will jam
right,
every time you pull the trigger.
right.
Yeah, but it's also plus 3 damage. So.
But the way
That's pretty cool.
the way
I
he,
also like the blowing up part.
Yep.
yeah, the way he rolls though, sometimes I just want to make sure there's an option.
Oh, that's why
out
I
there.
picked Seth.
Yeah.
And every time you level up, you get 5 force points.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
Are they cumulative or
Nope.
do they?
That you lose them,
Okay,
whatever's
so-
left over.
Use them or lose
When
them.
are we going to get to second level?
It's going to be. It's not going to be experience points. It's going to be milestones.
Okay. So we'll have a little bit of warning before it happens.
I'm going to say when you get back to the planet with everything done, that's going to be your level 2.
Okay. Okay. So we're free to spend the force points that we have on these things
Yeah,
because we'll be getting 5 more.
right.
That will not make it 10. 5 is the ceiling.
You gain force points equal to 5 plus 1/2 of your new character level, rounded down.
So we'll
Okay.
get 6.
So you get 6 on the next. Yeah. Some prestige classes grant higher number of force points at each level, but that's the prestige class.
Hopefully that's Jedi.
Yeah.
Like.
Um,
Okay.
So Kirk, do you know generally what we're going to make off this ore? Like, should we go into negotiations and should we arrive at this planet, or do we want to save that till next time?
We can save it till next time. It's almost 10 now, so we still have time to get to the planet. Is there any other planning you want to do in the meantime?
I think we're
it's
starting to
gonna
run
be
out of.
dependent. Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
We're kind of down to the wire now, right? Like we only have one day of leeway for the week that I think that we have.
Okay.
Is that right? We only have like 1 day between when we think that the Tatari are coming back.
You're gonna be back on the 4th day, and it was about the 6th or 7th day when you think the bad stuff will start.
Okay.
When they'll start,
So-
when they'll get to the town, realize that no one's there, and then start spreading out and searching for them.
Okay, so we have a little bit more time than I thought.
Yeah.
We do have the resource of the mother of the engineer or the mother of the repair guy from the repair shop that we can ask details of how they could best be serviced as well.
Yeah,
Or-
someone needs to talk to her and just see what she knows about anything.
Or
I think that somebody should be you.
Yeah,
Lashara.
probably.
or a detailed plan of the town and where they're going to be coming from, that sort of thing. So if you do want to set up an ambush, she would be the best way to figure that out.
Okay. Yeah, we can save that dialogue till next time if you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah. Anything else in the meantime? Get your blaster fixed up.
Does anybody else want me to fiddle with any of their weapons?
I mean, I might need a cybernetic heart.
I'm trained in treat injury. If you get me a cybernetic implant, I can in fact install it in you.
Nice. What is the medical skill called? Is treat injury? Yeah.
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 trained in that.
That's all right. All right. So I think we'll call it here for tonight. And if there's nothing else left over to do, thanks for joining us, and happy trails, I guess. May the force be with you.
Yeah, I'll see you next time.
All right.
Next time.
So you guys.
This has been a production of Gaming Without Gaming, all rights reserved. Visit us at gamingwithoutgaming.com. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/gamingwithoutgaming. Title music is by Greg Braun, Find him on soundcloud.com/Clara7. That's KLARA-7. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Gaming Without Gaming logo music is by Kevin MacLeod.